Ahoy, sailor. Today we take a deep dive into the world of piracy.
Piracy? Are you kidding me? What does this have to do with sustainability? Aren't we supposed to talk about social and environmental change? Isn't this green exchange? Talk shows for change makers? Yes, it is. Calm down. Let me explain. Pirates are not what we think they are. Yes, they were probably a bit and sometimes even a little bit but they have played a very important role in periods of history that were both tumultuous and critical. And they keep influencing our world every day. They just don't operate on water anymore, for most at least. This mixtape comes in 2 chapters. Chapter 1 today will be about pirates of the old times, the ones we see in the movies. Chapter 2, coming soon, about modern pirates, from sea pirates in Somalia to computer hackers and other forms of piracy we know today. Sailor, it's time to ask yourself, what can we learn from pirates? As always with our mixtapes, music is what will transport us into this adventure. And I have to say, the sounds we'll be playing today are of the epic kind. To be more precise, this mixtape is designed for 3 specific situations. Situation 1. You are on a big piece of work, writing the report of your life, or maybe you're preparing for an important meeting, or for your dream job interview. You want to make this a turning point in your life, why not in history? At your service, this music will get you in the mood. Situation 2, you need to escape. How about training your imagination? How about reinventing your life in different times? What would you look like in 1650, for instance? Where do you work? What do you do in the morning? Where do you go on vacation? And how about your friends and colleagues? Imagine meeting them up in 1650. Jack, hello! I didn't know you were a pirate.
It is my intention to commandeer one of these ships, pick up a crew and Tortuga, raid, pillage, plunder, and otherwise pilfer my Weasley black guts out.
Nice! Situation 3, you are going on a hunt. Well, actually, you're just going to pick up mushrooms on a Sunday. Well, actually, you're just going to walk the dog. See, how boring is this? Bring some action into your moment. Again, use your imagination. With this mixtape, you're going to run in between the trees, duck the arrows that evil forces are throwing at you, shut down a fire, save a deer from drowning in the river, help a baby fox find his mother, clean up all of the plastic littering, and come back home with a bag full of mushrooms for dinner. Now that's a ride. To make this mixtape as relevant and realistic as possible, I need help from someone who is a real pirate nerd. Yes, those people exist. Pirate nerds. Let me tell you, those guys are as valuable as researchers at least, and historians even. And they are most likely funnier to talk to. So, I'm going to look at my notes. Who do we have here?
Ahoy!
Eileen? I didn't know you were joining. Great. I was looking for our partner to help me on this mixtape.
Oh yeah, that's me.
Oh, that's you?
Mm-hmm.
You're a pirate nerd?
A giant pirate nerd.
No. Wow. Now I understand why this mixtape got on the editorial calendar.
Yeah, that's my evil plan.
Well, okay. Just help me understand. How pirate nerdy are you?
Well, I wrote my school dissertation on pirates. There were posters all over my room when I was a teenager of pirates.
Wow.
I watched every type of Treasure Island adaptation there is out there. I know all the movies, the video games, and my cat is called Calico Jack, so...
Calico Jack. Well, I think you qualify. I can sense the excitement as well. A dream come true at Green Exchange today, ladies and gentlemen.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk piracy with Ellen Murphy. Okay, so what do we start with?
Oh, we'll start with a sea shanty.
A sea shanty. What's that? It's a type of ice cream, or
No, it's basically a maritime work song.
a work song? Oh, you mean for labor work on a ship, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it'll get us in the mood, and then we'll start decrypting what we as change makers can learn from pirates.
Let's go. From now on, I'll let you hold the ship's wheel. Just don't make us seasick, please. That's all I'm asking.
Just keep looking at the horizon.
All right.
The smartest clipper you can find. The ho-way, ho, are you most done? Is the Margaret Evans and the Blue Star Line. Clear away the track and let the bull giant run. To me, hey, Rick a jig in a jaunting car. Ho-way, ho, are you most done? Will Liza Lee or on me knee? Clear away the track and let the bull giant run. Oh, the Margaret Evans and the Blue Star Line. Ho-way, ho, are you most done? She's never a day behind her time. Clear away the track and let the bull giant run. To me, hey, Rick a jig in a jaunting car. Ho-way, ho, are you most done? With Liza Lee all on me knee. Clear away the track and let the bull giant run. Oh, we're outward bound for New York town. Ho-way, ho, are you most done? We'll dance them Bowery girls around. Clear away the track and let the bull giant run. To me, hey, Rick a jig in a jaunting car. Ho-way, ho, are you most done? With Liza Lee all on me knee. Clear away the track and let the bull giant run. When we stowed our freight on the West Street Pier. Ho-way, ho, are you most done? We'll head right back to some Liverpool beer. Clear away the track and let the bull giant run. To me, hey, Rick a jig in a jaunting car. Ho-way, ho, are you most done? With Liza Lee all on me knee. Clear away the track and let the bull giant run. Oh, I thought I heard the old man say, ho-way, ho, are you most done? We'll leave that brick 3 points away. Clear away the track and let the bull giant run. To me, hey, Rick a jig in a jaunting car. Ho-way, ho, are you most done? With Liza Lee all on me knee. Clear away the track and let the bull giant run. And when we're back in Liverpool town, ho-way, ho, are you most done? I'll stand years whiskers all around. Clear away the track and let the bull giant run. To me, hey, Rick a jig in a jaunting car. Ho-way, ho, are you most done? With Liza Lee all on me knee. Clear away the track and let the bull giant run.
Wow, that was something.
So first, let's clarify what kind of pirates we should be talking about. Piracy is a vast area.
Okay, you tell me. Who can we learn from?
Okay, so I'll start from scratch. There's a lot of different types of people called pirates, which makes it kind of confusing. It's messy, but generally when we talk about pirates, we're thinking of the OG pirates.
Can you explain that part? What are the OG pirates?
Sure. Well, basically, those are anyone who didn't work on behalf of a country, like Blackbeard, for example. So they roamed the seas in search of treasure, and they were the enemy of every state.
Okay, so bad guys on a ship, drinking, raping, stealing, and treasure hunting, basically. Is that who we need to learn from? Really?
See, that's the common perception. But the golden age of piracy was actually a time of brutal oppression. And you know, we also had those big colonial powers trying to take over the world at the time. So pirates were usually the ones who tried to escape that oppression.
I see.
So many pirates were escaped slaves, for example, who would have had no other means of making a living. Blackbeard's crew was thought to be made up of about 60% black people, mostly freed slaves.
That's why the crews were always very diverse.
Yeah, pirates formed their own societies and went against the status quo.
So they were change makers, basically.
Yeah, you could say so. Morality, law, and justice play a big part in this topic. It's argued that pirate societies were the most egalitarian societies of their time, bringing together multi-ethnic crews, allowing a form of gay marriage as well.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And they also had a strict moral and ethical code, which isn't what we usually think of, right? And they even had a healthcare system.
A healthcare system? Really? With the little card and your photo on it?
Yep, that's right.
Oh, wow. How is it called? Like William McCare?
Yeah, something like that. And democracy as well, with each man having a vote. And they worked as a team, each sailor being a part of a bigger whole.
Wow. I never saw it like this. This is fascinating.
Yeah, and all this was a direct backlash to the tyrannical rule on merchant ships at the time. And we need to put that in perspective. Pirates had a separation of powers and democratic government aboard their ships at least 1 century before France.
Right, who brought it on in 1789. Eileen, I'm so into this. The music and everything, it's transporting me. I feel like you and me are on a ship called the Black Sheep, and we're navigating the tumultuous seas of podcasting. And our listeners are probably willing to join our quest at this point. What route should we occupy?
Well, that's an interesting thing we can learn from OG pirates, actually. They strategically occupied the waterways that formed major trading routes.
They were not far out in the ocean.
Yeah, they were typically occupying like the Bahamas, for instance, because that's where all the merchant ships going to Spain were passing by. They were really good at finding the strategic spots. Rather than challenging their targets head-on, pirates usually surprised and attacked their enemies at their weakest points, so they gave them no time to react.
Okay, so lesson learned, take a strategic position in the space you want to occupy. And be ready for when opportunities show up.
And fire! Fire! Fire!
I never saw you so excited, Eileen. So let's talk about captain's power, shall we?
Yeah. So, unlike merchant vessels, on a pirate ship, captains weren't really able to secure special privileges for themselves at the crew's expense. Their lodgings, provisions, and even pay were nearly the same as everyone else.
But they had their own cabin, though, no?
Yes, but any time a crew member was free to come in unannounced and just yell at the captain if they weren't doing a good job. So your privileges were quite limited, and if you weren't a good leader, things could rapidly change.
Interesting idea.
Dear Spanish fair ladies, farewell and adieu, dear ladies of Spain. We've received orders to sail for all England, but I hope in a short time to see you again. We're rantin', we're roaring through British sailors. We're rantin', we're roaring all on the South Sea, until we strike soundings in the channel of all England. From Ocean to Scilly is 35 leagues. We hold that ship to with the wind from sou'west, boys. We hold that ship to big sounding today. It's 45 fathoms with the whites on the bottom, so we skirt our main yards up channel to make. The first land we sighted was called the Dubman. His rams get off Plymouth and Portland no White. We sailed by Beachy, by Fairlight and Dover, and bored away up to the South Foreign Light. We're rantin', we're roaring through British sailors. Rantin', we're roaring all on the South Sea, until we strike soundings in the channel of all England. From Ocean to Scilly is 35 leagues. For the Grand Fleet to anchor, and in the Downs at nightfall to lie, and go ye shank bait to let go the cat stopper, all away on clog garnets, and let tag sheets fly. Oh, let every man bring off his full bumper, let every man bring off his full glass. I'll drink and be jolly, and drown and uncolly, and here's to the health of each true-hearted lass. We're rantin', we're roaring through British sailors. Rantin', we're roaring all on the South Sea, until we take soundings in the channel of all England. From Ocean to Scilly is 35 leagues. We're rantin', we're roaring through British sailors. Rantin', we're roaring all on the South Sea, until we strike soundings in the channel of all England. From Ocean to Scilly is 35 leagues. We're rantin', we're roaring through British sailors. Rantin', we're roaring all on the South Sea, till we strike soundings in the channel of all England. From Ocean to Scilly is 35 leagues. From Ocean to Scilly is 35 leagues. From Ocean to Scilly is 35 leagues.
You're going to like this. I brought with me a few common rules from the world of piracy.
Tell me.
Lights out at 8 p.m.
What? No drinking and partying every night?
No, lights out at 8 p.m, I said.
Okay. Copy that.
No gambling. Keep your weapons ready for battle. No stealing.
No stealing?
From other pirates, I mean.
Okay.
All disputes are settled on land with pistols and, wait for it, musicians have Sundays off.
Interesting. But I have this image of pirates drinking rum and partying on some island.
Yeah, after the big victories maybe, when they have some downtime.
Yeah, that's what a ship is, you know. It's not just a keel and a hull and a deck and sails. That's what a ship needs. But what a ship is, what the Black Pearl really is freedom.
Jack, it must be really terrible for you to be trapped on this island.
Oh, yes. But the company is infinitely better than last time, and the scenery has definitely improved.
Sparrow, I'm not entirely sure that I've had enough rum to allow that kind of talk.
I know exactly what you mean, love.
To freedom.
To the Black Pearl.
Story of the day. Is there a pirate that stood out in your research?
Yes, definitely. Do you know the story of Qing Shi?
No, but that sounds Chinese.
It is. It's a female Chinese pirate that has been called the most successful pirate in history.
Oh yeah? More successful than Blackbeard?
Yeah, well, to give you an idea, Blackbeard was leading 4 boats and about 300 men at his peak.
Okay, that was peak Blackbeard. What was peak Qing Shi?
1,800 pirate ships and an estimated 80,000 men.
What? 80,000 men? That's a lot. Sorry to ask, but how did a female pirate in China in the 1800s rise to that level of power?
Well, it's a long story, but I'll make it short. She was an ex-sex worker and...
a sex worker? Oh yeah, okay, I see.
Yeah, and married to Cheng Yi, or Cheng One maybe, I'm not sure how to say it, who was commanding the Red Flag fleet of pirates. It was a big fleet already. His main achievement was to unite many rival fleets under the same flag.
Mm-hmm.
And he married her in 1801. The thing is, she demanded equal control of the fleet as a condition of her marriage.
Smart.
Yeah, very. She was actively participating in all piracy activities, like a few other women in history. When he died, she took over and since then built a legacy that completely overshadowed the one of her husband.
Wow. How did she do this?
Well, back when she was a sex worker, she was hanging out with very influential people and businessmen, and some say she learned a lot about financials and the politics at this point. And there is evidence that she was very savvy as well. She also maintained a very strict code of conduct across the fleet.
I suppose you don't carry on at that level if you're a clown. What happened to her?
The fleet was undefeated for 3 whole years. They were really dominating in that period. And then in 1810, Qing Shi could finally retire by accepting an offer of amnesty from the Chinese government.
Wait, what? She retired? That's it?
Politics. There was a lot of tension. Another pirate fleet called the Black Flag Fleet recently surrendered, and she felt she was going to lose control, so it looked like it was a wise decision given the context. She died 34 years later at the age of 69.
In a retirement home?
More or less, yeah.
This is boring, Eileen.
Oh, but you have to put it into context. She had a tremendous influence over Chinese popular culture.
That's quite an unexpected ending for that kind of profile.
Yeah, I don't think retirement happened very often. She was probably the only one to do so.
let's throw the anchor, Eileen. It's time to end this first chapter about piracy. We learned a few lessons. I think, what would you conclude?
Well, I think one of the main points is that it's not about breaking all the rules, it's about making better ones.
Right.
And we can't really celebrate everything that pirates stood for, of course, because yes, there was a lot of murder and violence. But we should definitely follow their example in trying to make a better, more equal world, and be brave enough to stand against the big tyrannical powers of today.
I have no idea what you're talking about, Eileen.
Well, also, I think fairness and cooperation was key to their success. What helped them be successful was that everyone on board had a vested interest in their success, and all bounty was shared equally. And I think this is a good lesson for us to keep in mind when it comes to cooperatives or shared spaces, workplace, democracy, everything really. There is more, of course, but I think we went through most of the interesting points.
Yeah, that was great. That's all we have time for today. But don't miss Chapter 2, you listeners. We're going to dive into modern piracy and see if there's anything we can learn from. Eileen, I think you'll be our pirate guide for next chapter as well.
Yarr!
All right, we'll get some rest in the meantime. And to all of you, we hope you enjoyed this mixtape. We'll be back soon for more. We'll let you occupy the waters of change. Until next time.
Oh, the work was hard and the wages low. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. I guess it's time for us to go, and it's time for us to leave her. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, the voyage is done and the winds don't blow, and it's time for us to leave her. Oh, I thought I heard the old man say, leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, tomorrow you will get your pay, and it's time for us to leave her. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, the voyage is done and the winds don't blow, and it's time for us to leave her. The winds blew foul and the seas run high. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. We shipped 'em green and none went by, and it's time for us to leave her. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, the voyage is done and the winds don't blow, and it's time for us to leave her. The mate was a bucko and the old man a Turk. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. And the boatswain was a beggar with a middle name of work, and it's time for us to leave her. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, the voyage is done and the winds don't blow, and it's time for us to leave her. The old man swears and the mate swears too. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. The crew all swear, and so would you, and it's time for us to leave her. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, the voyage is done and the winds don't blow, and it's time for us to leave her. The starboard pump is like the crew. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. It's all worn out and will not do, and it's time for us to leave her. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, the voyage is done and the winds don't blow, and it's time for us to leave her. The rats have gone and we the crew. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. It's time, be damned, that we went to, and it's time for us to leave her. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, the voyage is done and the winds don't blow, and it's time for us to leave her. Well, I pray that we shall ne'er more see. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. A hungry ship, the likes of she, and it's time for us to leave her. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, the voyage is done and the winds don't blow, and it's time for us to leave her.